Alright, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to your Monday Night Raw August 24th, 2015 review. This event was alright, wasn't bad, not too shabby. Again, as I mentioned in my SummerSlam show, or review, they should have they need to start condensing these shows because, as I've said before, they condense it less, make it less, the less hours, make it like 2 hours for regular shows, 3 hours for pay-per-views except for WrestleMania. They got a perfect thing going. No hard, nothing, I don't have to put so many things together in one night and try to have back-to-back memorable events and keeping the audience entertained for 3 straight hours. I mean, it's not an easy thing to do. I mean, you got to be very, very on tap. I mean, that 3 hours to me is a pay-per-view type quality show. So, I mean, and they're giving that to us every single Monday night, but yet the show isn't like pay-per-view quality. So, I mean, like, what's the fucking point of having it 3 hours? Make it 2. But I could keep saying this over and over again in this review. It ain't going to change anything. The only thing that can change what's going on in WWE is management. And of course, management's being run by Vince McMahon, Triple H, Stephanie McMahon, and Kevin Dunn, and maybe a few other people that I don't know about that are behind the scenes. But really, overall, a lot of the tactics that Kevin Dunn and Vince McMahon do show up more on the show than anything else, which is kind of scary, but at the same time gives hope that because Triple H and Stephanie McMahon do such a great job with NXT, at some point down the line, once Vince McMahon retires from running this company, he will give that to Triple H and Stephanie McMahon to take care of and run for themselves, which then at that point should turn out to be a really awesome, entertaining show to watch. Maybe even worth 3 hours they could put on for an audience every Monday night. I doubt it, and I would definitely make it less than 3 hours. I'd make it 2, just to condense it and have more back-to-back memorable and meaningful moments throughout each and every second of Monday Night Raw. But first thing we had on this show was Brock Lesnar and Paul Heyman saying one thing and one thing only: screw what happened at SummerSlam. In their minds, Brock was the man, Undertaker was the joke. He was the one that tapped out and delivered a low blow out of desperation to beat Brock Lesnar. Very understandable. Brock Lesnar at that point, Paul Heyman really, as talking for Brock Lesnar, requested Undertaker to come down, have this match restarted all over again, and do it all over. Nothing happened. Bo Dallas came out instead. Completely idiotic. Did not understand why they keep sending this guy down here to get his ass kicked. This is like the second time in the last 6 months they've done this with this poor son of a bitch. It's bad enough he sucks. They gotta beat his ass on top of it. Comes out, does his spiel about complete nonsense and all that, and then Brock Lesnar started laughing his ass off and then clotheslined him and practically took his head off almost. So he delivers 6 different German suplexes, and then at that point Paul Heyman says, Brock Lesnar puts Bo Dallas on his shoulders, and this was funny, and Paul Heyman goes, you know what, Bo? Brock Lesnar does believe, and he chucked his ass and F5'd him straight to hell into the mat. Awesome freaking, it was funny though, I have to admit that was pretty hilarious. I feel bad for him though. I mean, he got banged up to shit. He landed pretty bad on his neck several times. Didn't really land square on his shoulders or on his back. It was more on his neck, which is dangerous to do, because I mean, he could have broke his neck possibly, and that would have really sucked, just to do some lame ass segment where he gets chucked around and be the laughing stock of that segment. I mean, that's just a little nuts. and a little over the top, really, and unnecessary, personally, I think. But it was still very funny, very entertaining segment, so I enjoyed that one. The first match we had on the card was New Day defeating Lucha Dragons with the primetime players outside the ring, the former champions, now New Day's two-time tag team champions. They were bragging about beating the Luchador Dragons, playing with a trombone or whatever the fuck they were playing with, and out of freaking nowhere, like, it was like a godsend, the Dudley Boys show up on Monday Night Raw and kick the New Day's ass, and then put Xavier Woods straight through the fucking table with a 3D. Awesome. Very awesome. I'm not a big guy anymore about the older guys being put over the younger talent. But in this case, with the tag team division being the way it is at this point, my God, it's needed. Really, it is. It needs to be revamped. It needs to get back to the old style when the Dudley Boys were around. They need to have that kind of scenario going on. So very good. Match itself sucked. Couldn't care less with it. The match was a fucking dud. From there we had the Dean Ambrose and Roman Reigns defeating Bray Wyatt and Luke Harper in a DQ. They brought out this new member who, very smart move on WWE's part to add a member of the Wyatt family that no one's ever heard of. Nobody's really seen unless you paid very close attention to the NXT division, which I don't. I pay more attention to the main product, the Major League end of WWE. Not discrediting NXT. I like NXT's takeover shows. I watch them anytime they come on because they're 2-hour events. But I just tend to stick with the primary product itself, the WWE Major League end of WWE, and that's really where it lies with me with this. But not to say that NXT sucks or NXT's nothing like WWE. Well, it isn't. It's actually better in my personal opinion. The only reason why I don't watch is I don't like 1-hour shows. There is not enough time to give good build for 2-3 hour shows altogether for a pay-per-view type of event. That's just my personal reason why I don't watch NXT on a daily basis every Wednesday. But with all that said, very neat character they came up with. I forgot the name. They introduced the name on the show. They said he's the black sheep of Abigail. Makes no fucking sense. They really should introduce a female wrestler as the Sister Abigail to all this. I think that would be kind of cool to do that. Give a rhyme or a reason where the fuck Sister Abigail came from, and build on from that, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, the match itself was okay. I mean, it was pretty much the same standard match like it was the night before. I don't think it was very necessary to have a rematch. Maybe they could have had Roman Reigns and Bray Wyatt one-on-one with Dean Ambrose and Luke Harper on the side of the ring as managers. I think that would have been more suitable, so they wouldn't be too repetitive in that kind of situation. And basically, a very decent match, though. It wasn't the greatest match like it was SummerSlam's match, but it wasn't bad. And especially introducing this new character, being as dominant as this character is, it's pretty freaking awesome. Think this guy's going to be doing pretty alright with the Wyatt family. May build something off of this character, or he just may, pretty much stay where he is at this point for a long period of time and eventually span out to something else. Who knows? Just all depends on how things unravel and unfold for this new character they came up with for the Wyatt family. We also had we had a segment where John Cena is talking about or not, John Stewart's talking about his reasoning why he did that to John Cena, which was actually a very smart move on their part in a sense, because of the fact that it really didn't make a lot of sense why he would even turn on Cena and help Seth Rollins, because Seth Rollins and him was having their own friction going on earlier this past year before SummerSlam even came about. And I mean, it was definitely kind of awkward for them to do that. That was another reason why it didn't make any sense to do that. And then he finally made sense of it. They just came out and he made it simple that he just didn't want John Cena tying Ric Flair's record, which just about everybody in freaking the wrestling world doesn't want John Cena tying Ric Flair's record. Ric Flair came out, made his opinion about that, and felt that he was wrong for doing it. He felt that if any guy could or tie the record or break it, he would rather it be John Cena, because he respects him. He feels like he's a hard worker. I mean, there's no denying that. I feel John Cena is a very good worker. He busts his ass every single time he's in that ring. But the thing is that he's just not, the talent-wise, technical wrestling-wise, he's not what you call a guy that should be tying Ric Flair's record. Did he deserve maybe some of those 15 title wins? Yeah, I think so. But did he deserve to be? Does he deserve to tie Ric Flair's record? Hell no. No way in hell. There's a lot of other guys, and it ain't because John Cena's John Cena. I wouldn't give it to Stone Cold. I wouldn't give it to The Rock. I wouldn't give it to Triple H. I wouldn't give it to any one of those names I just mentioned to tying Ric Flair's record. These are the guys that I would have tie Ric Flair's record. And this is going off point, but it's still kind of sticking with what I'm talking about here. Kurt Angle, Bret Hart, Shawn Michaels, Daniel Bryan, Seth Rollins even. He's an awesome wrestler. He's got a long way to go. And Cesaro. He's an awesome, awesome talent. So if any of those guys were to tie that record, I would say yeah to it. But of course, half of those guys I mentioned aren't even really wrestling anymore. Kurt Angle's half-baked, banged up to shit, always injured, year after year. He's got a major injury, and he's working in TNA. So I don't even think WWE will even acknowledge those title wins that he's gotten in TNA altogether. So technically he's a 16-time World Heavyweight Champion in WWE, or 16-time, because he won the WCW and the World Heavyweight title, and 4 times with the WWE Championship. So, I mean, that makes him a 6-time champion. He's got 10 more title reigns to go, which ain't ever going to happen. It ain't even ever going to happen in his lifetime for him to win 10 title reigns in less than a year or two. So, yeah, that's basically it on that subject. But then John Cena comes out. He's basically shooting the shit with him, saying, you know what, you pissed me off. You took what I built my ass off for with the United States title, and you didn't think everything through here. You took all my hard work and flushed it down the toilet with me losing that U.S. title and giving it to a guy who don't deserve to even be the champion, and you screwed me out of that belt at least. I guess he was basically trying to say that, you know, you may have been trying to avoid me from tying the record of Ric Flair. You also stole something from me that I worked my tail off for to bring prestige to. I think that's really where this is lying to, which later on kind of explains that, which I'll get into why I say that. Because it seemed like he was a little bit more concerned about losing the United States Championship than just winning the World Heavyweight title, which was kind of interesting. I mean, he kind of was relaying that, you know, he was pissed off he didn't win the World Championship for the 16th time, tying Ric Flair's record. But at the same time, he also was stating, hey man, I also had another title on the line that I worked my ass off for and brought more prestige back to that belt that it didn't have before, before I had it. So, I mean, like, what the hell are you doing, man? You cost me something I worked my ass off for. And at the end of the day, with all the yammering and jammering bullshit, he gave, Jon Stewart the AA and walked away. Which I thought was another fucking funny moment. And was pretty hilarious. So, nothing too shabby on that one. We then had a six-man tag team match with the Team Bella and PCB. This match was almost 15 minutes long. I really didn't have a lot of interest in this match. I don't know why, I just didn't. It didn't seem to really concern me all so much. So, who fucking cares to review this match? Give it a 1 out of 5 star, maybe. Match wasn't all that great, really. It seemed like the Bella Twins had more control over this match than anybody else. So it was kind of lame. Trying to think of some other segments that occurred. The Wyatt family introduced the new Wyatt family member, which I already mentioned. So really at that point they escorted John Cena out of the building to get even with Seth Rollins. And, it just, John Cena had nothing to do with the segment, which I thought later was a different scenario, but I'll get further into that. If you haven't seen Monday Night Raw, it was actually somebody else, which was very shocking who it was. We then had, at that point, the 8-man tag team match. This 8-man tag team match was decent. I give it a 3.3 out of 5 stars. Okay, decent match. Pretty standard 8-man tag team match. And the team that won this match was Cesaro, Dolph Ziggler, Randy Orton, and Ryback, defeating Kevin Owens, Rusev, Sheamus, and Big Show. Big Show happened to accidentally punch Sheamus in the face and cost Rusev, Owens, and really his whole team the match. Randy Orton hit the RKO for the 1, 2, 3, and that was the end of the match. And Rusev and Kevin Owens, which was weird, teamed together and beat the shit out of the Big Show for doing that. I was very shocked by this. I never kind of figured those two as a tag team. But very interesting how they beat the shit out of him. It wasn't all that great. I didn't care too much for this match, really. I mean, I give it a 3 out of 5 stars, mainly because of effort and the names that were in this match. But the action, I mean, I could live with it, live without it. I mean, it didn't really matter to me. But yeah, and then Cesaro's team, all of them ganged up on fucking Big Show and beat the shit out of him too. That was the end of that. And then the final segment of the show, which was the best segment of the whole thing. It was worth all 3 hours. We had this long, drawn-out conversation about how Seth Rollins is the man. He's a legend. He's now the man, no longer the future of WWE. He's a double champion carrying the US and the WWE title, and so forth, and blah, 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 for almost 15 fucking minutes. Then they're supposed to reveal this golden statue that they supposedly came up with. They lift that son of a bitch up, and who's standing there? Sting, baby. And let me tell you, that was pretty freaking awesome in my book. And the reaction on Triple H's face was fucking priceless. He was like, huh? That was awesome. And then Sting came off the little stand, came down and started beating Seth Rollins' ass. He flew out of the ring, and Sting was looking at the WWE Championship and held that son of a bitch up like he was the World Heavyweight Champ. Now, this is guaranteed, no doubt about it. Sting is challenging Seth Rollins for that WWE World Heavyweight Championship, and let me put it to you this, folks. I think he's going to win it. Because they said they were going to have a big angle leading into WrestleMania. I think this is the angle. I think it's Sting becoming a first-time ever WCW wrestler to hold a WWE championship and then carry it all the way up to WrestleMania and do pretty much the same thing that Brock Lesnar did last year. He'll hold on to the title, carry it through, have probably a match at Survivor Series, a match at the Royal Rumble, and then have his final match at WrestleMania and retire. So I think that's how they're going to do it, which is the best thing they could possibly do, and then probably take that match that Seth Rollins lost at Night of Champions and have him defend the United States title against John Cena in the upcoming storylines as well. I think that's probably where they're going to go with this. I think right now they might put John Cena in the back burner just to let him cool off so that he can recuperate from some of the injuries he's incurred over the last couple of months, maybe years, and not to mention the broken nose. They maybe just needed him to do that match at SummerSlam so that they didn't have to change anything about it and at least have the US and WWE Championship unified. Well, not unified, but defended at the same time on this in the same match. So I think that was the reason why it was necessary, and that's why they went with it. And they just wanted to take the belt off of Cena, so at that point they can just let him take a time off, come back, and win the U.S. title back from Seth Rollins at that point. But anyway, at this time, leave your comments and opinions down below. Let me know what you guys think. You think Sting is going to win the WWE World Heavyweight title, or you think this is just an attention grabber by WWE to get more WWE Network subscribers? Who the fuck knows? In my personal opinion, you make him the champion, you're going to get subscribers coming in left and right with him being the champ. That's just my personal opinion. Let me know yours, and I'll respond back to you. But at this time, hit that subscribe button, and thank you very much for watching this video, guys. Bye.